West Side.
Co-host of the popular Seize the Moment podcast, Leon Gerber explains why he chooses Tupac Shakur over Jay-Z. Appearing on Hip Hop 24, licensed therapist and co-host of Seize the Moment podcast revealed which song instantly made him a Tupac fan. At the age of 11, Leon was only into rock music, but that was until he turned into MTV and watched a Tupac music video for the very first time.
I was addicted to the dark side. Somewhere inside my childhood when this my heart died.
And I was so blown away by it, man. I was like, holy shit. This song is amazing, right? And like at that point, I really disliked rap music. I was like, it's not. I didn't think it was just too musical, right? I was like, it seems like just a bunch of guys talking. So and then you hear until the end of time. So you hear these lyrics, and you're like, oh my god, like some of this. And this is me at like 12 years old or whatever it was, right? And I'm like, some of these lyrics, I'm like, this is actually like what I feel, right? Where he says like, perhaps I was addicted to the dark side, somewhere inside my childhood when this my heart died. And I'm like, oh, and I'm just like me at 12 years old, right? And I'm like, oh my God, I can relate to this. And you see this video, right? And the video is even better than like, so the song is obviously phenomenal. It's still my favorite it is my favorite song, but then the video itself makes the song even better, right? But so just the big question here is like, well, why Pac, obviously, right? It's the message, man. So whereas like with other rap music, the reason why I think I really didn't like it was because there was just no affect to it. Like Jay-Z, Nas were popular at the time. And look, Nas is cool. I have nothing against the guy. I do appreciate some of his music. There was nothing there for me, right? I'm like, okay, cool. They talk about like selling drugs. Jay-Z is really big into that. Okay, I guess, sure, you're an entrepreneur. Understood. I'm like, everybody know in this neighborhood selling drugs, so he didn't seem that special to me. So, but with Pac, right, there was something different because like you felt like he was talking to you not only obviously from his own soul, but he was talking from the communal soul. Yeah. So he was giving you these perspectives about what was going on in these communities, right? And then so it was just so important because it wasn't just his perspective, right? Because like with Jay-Z, it was more like, okay, this is how I came up, and like this is why you should admire me, right? I never got that sense from Pac, man. It was never like, oh, here. I mean, I'm sure some of the songs are like this, but it was not like, oh, here's why you should admire me. That wasn't the message of his music. The message is, here's why you should give a shit about us, right? Here are all of the things that we're going through. And then as you're kind of going through it and you're learning about the person, right? You're like, oh my God, man, this guy, bro, Brenda's got a baby, because literally they're like these young to 8, 7, no, I'm sorry, not 8. So they're like these 11, 12-year-old girls who are having babies in this neighborhood, and they're like being abused by their family members. They have like their uncles and trying to have sex with them. Like, this crazy shit is actually happening. And here's Pac, he's like, oh, I have this voice and now I got to shine a light on this because this needs to stop. And, he said like, every day I come out of the house, right? He's like, I have to stay strapped because it's like a war zone out here, right? So it wasn't like that with Jay-Z, man. Like he kind of glamorized the projects, right? It was more like, yeah, this is a hard life and it really sucks, but here's why I'm so amazing, right? Because I'm so smart and I kind of came out of this. Again, here's why you should admire me. Okay, cool. Again, nothing against that, just not for me, right? But again, with Pac, it was so different because the idea was like, no, this is why we need help.
Back in 2019, hip-hop artist T.I. also spoke about Tupac's impact over Jay-Z. Hip-hop's greatest 50 rappers of all time was a hot topic for 2019. The debate would continue when T.I. appeared on The Breakfast Club. This time, the discussion came down to two artists, Jay-Z and Tupac. Prior to his appearance on The Morning Show, T.I. shared his list during an episode of his podcast. His top list had Tupac as number 1, Jay-Z as number 2, followed by Biggie as number 3, and Snoop Dogg as number 4.
Oh, you know what? Hove called me. And then he said, oh, and by the way, you really believe that? Mm-hmm. And I said, yeah. Yeah, I do. When it comes to impact, I do.
Let us know in the comments below which song made you a Tupac fan. And as always, like the video and subscribe for more Tupac news.
You can go anywhere, any part of the globe, and say Tupac, right? And they gonna sing a Tupac song.